What's up, everybody out there? How you doing? I want to say thank you so much for clicking that thumbnail over here at Peppielaview, and I am yours truly, Peppy. Yes, we are in the entertainment section right now, where we talk about who's drop kicking who in these entertainment streets, literally and figuratively speaking. And speaking of drop kicking, let's talk about this drop kick of a comment that has been allegedly made by, Brad and Judy regarding the possible father of their child. Keep in mind, he's not the father. Literally, he's not the father. Yes, the Brad and Judy are definitely getting a lot of heat when it comes to, how they decided to select the father of their child. Well, allow me to explain. I know that I'm a little late on this one, but I am late as far as talking about it, but I'm definitely well aware of the Brad and Judy's pregnancy. Well, I want to talk about a couple of things that I don't think no one has thought about. I haven't listened to someone else talk about this, so my point of view could very well be someone else's point of view. I just haven't talked to anyone about it, and I definitely have not watched any other social media platforms covering this particular topic. But I will say this. Let's just dive deep into this one. Like, as far as the selection process is concerned. So the Brad and Judy are definitely wanting to have a child, number one. The Brad and Judy are going about searching for a father for their child. Now, I would definitely like to think that if they are choosing a donor for their child, then they are definitely going to be very meticulous with that. I just don't think that they're just going to go into this place and just pull some sperm off of the shelf and then have it put placed inside of the Brad, and then, we're going to live happily ever after. I definitely do not think that that's the case. I definitely do think that someone would definitely look at this as careful as possible. Now, I will say this. Yes, in this day and time when we have the technology in place where we could definitely go and find out, if I'm a carrier of this, then if I have my partner will be a carrier of that. The two of us getting together to have a child is definitely going to put that child at risk for, let's just say, something like sickle cell or lupus or so on and so forth. So I understand that. So now let's split this down the middle. We're talking about the Brad and the Judy. And I don't know why I want to call her the Judy. Maybe you need to call yourself the Judy, because I keep hearing the Judy. I don't know why. But anyway, yes, Brad and Judy would definitely want to think about that. However, you also have to keep in mind something else too. I don't know. I haven't watched their reality show in a while, so I'm not quite sure about how that process went about. But I will say this. When they got to the point where it looked like the selection for a brown skin, a black skin, and an African-American male was definitely slim pickings, then I think at that moment in time, if they truly wanted to have an African-American father for the child, then maybe they would have thought about going about it in a different direction. What direction is that? Well, I mean, we have the Brad here, right? And we have Judy. I don't know much about either one of them, but I will say that the Brad, being a celebrity, would definitely put her in a place where she has access to a lot of men. She has access to a lot of potential men who would be great fathers, okay? Now, we're talking about going to get sperm, correct? That's what we're talking about. And it's slim pickings. And then we're talking about, wait a minute, it's slim pickings over here as far as the sperm is concerned. But I hope you're not saying that it's slim pickings when it comes to African-American men and good African-American men, great African-American fathers who has the potential or would be great African-American fathers. See, now I think for me, that's where the split occurs. Getting sperm over here or choosing an African-American father. Now, again, as the song says, it's your thing, do what you want to do. I can't tell you who to sock it to. And in this case, I definitely can't tell you whose sperm to put inside of you. But I will say, is the issue the fact that you keep saying that it's slim pickings when it comes to sperm and the qualified sperm you're looking for at this particular place? Or are you saying there's not enough men out there, African-American men, who would probably love to go down this process with you? Now, I have to admit, myself personally, I would probably go like, no, I don't know about that. So, of course, then you have to go through that process. But did you even try to go about that process to see? So is the issue really you wanting to have an African-American father for your child? Is that what it was? And then you decided, well, there's not a lot of African-American men out there who has donated sperm in order for you to have a child. And if that is the case, it is what it is, right? And so I'm pretty sure you probably thought about what it would be like to have your child in this day and time as a biracial child, because it's still what it is what it is. I understand that most people out there will probably say, oh, well, we're progressing, and so on and so forth. But I can tell you definitely in this climate where people have gotten back to the place where I don't care how you feel, I will say what I want to say. It's my opinion, so on and so forth. We're definitely looks like we're getting back to that day and time where people just are definitely becoming unapologetic, and they don't mind if they're ignorant in some of the things that statements that they make about certain groups of people. It's just what it is right now. Okay. Now, you talk about Jimmy the Crooked, and that's what this guy looks like. Well, let's just be honest. We as adults, we definitely are people who I would like to think that we are attracted to our mate as soon as we see them. It's just what it is. And I'm talking about the physical attraction. So I can definitely understand what the Brett is saying. If in fact she's saying, well, I see this guy, I just don't find this guy attractive. So I'm definitely wondering what my child is going to come out looking like. I think that that is a logical thing to think about, okay? I definitely think that even when we go out and about, mingling, so on and so forth, and we're looking for a possible mate, I would like to think we do the same thing. Oh, well, she's to this, she's to that, he's to this, he's to that. You understand what I'm saying? So I think we also go through that process as well. But we also have to keep in mind, at the end of the day, there are definitely going to be some qualities in a particular person that we are definitely not going to like. Also keeping in mind that when we have our children, as we have our children, you have to understand this. Just because your child is blonde and blue-eyed does not mean that your child would not have any difficulties growing up, because now what you have in place, forget about if the child is going to look like Jimmy the Crooked. At this moment in time, you also have to think about what environment your child is going to be in and how that child is going to be perceived, right? Because now we have you raising a biracial child. Is it easier raising a biracial child than it is raising a child who is full-blooded African American who just might happen to look like Jimmy the Cricket to you? You see, so I think that we also have to be very mindful of these things. Now, if you ask me, and you definitely did not do that, but if you ask me, I still would go back to this comment that was made by myself earlier, and that is, you guys, excuse me, you ladies are definitely, I would like to think, around some very quality, some quality guys. I would like to think so, or you would have access to quality men. So at the end of the day, I just think that if the issue is, and this is what you're saying, because see, are we talking about Jimmy the Cricket in that comment, or are we talking about the fact that there are not a lot of African American men out there? Because you did find, and I haven't heard the whole entire comment, but it sounds like to me that this gentleman that you could have possibly, chosen as the father to your child, it sounds like to me he could have been a very qualified father, with the exception of him looking like Jimmy the Cricket. So again, do you want a child who is full-blooded African American, or full-blooded Black? And I don't know why I'm saying full-blooded, but I apologize about that. But is that the issue that we have here? Because if that's the issue, you still could have chosen that guy and say, well, this is what it is. Everything works out just fine. He just does not look the way I would like for him to look. But again, if the issue is about your child being African American or being Black or brown skin, again, I'm here to tell you, I think as far as the search is concerned, there's a lot of people out there who are in the business of probably being surrogate mothers and fathers. It's what it is. So when we come down to, we need to be educated, and I think I saw a post where you guys were on, you ladies, excuse me, you was on Tamron Hall's show, and we was talking about let's be educated about it. We need more education. I think we need more education all the way around regarding this. And as I said previously, the first of the education that we need to have is that we just really truly need to be mindful about the fact of making these statements that there's not a lot of qualified men, African American men out there who could be fathers. Let's stop there. We're talking about fathers now. If you did not find the man at this particular place where you can get sperm from, if you did not find the man there, you definitely could have reached out and in search of the African American father somewhere else. And I think sometimes, I'm just saying, Brad, and I'm choosing you right now, Brad, or speaking about you simply because I would like to think, just in my narrow-mindedness now, is that I would like to think that you're definitely somewhere around a lot of qualified men, African American men, who will probably be more than happy to have you carry their child. At the end of the day, it seems like to me you are definitely a great person. You're going to prosper. You're going to probably surely be a great mother at the end of the day. And I definitely understand about the selection, so on and so forth. And then speaking of selection, I would end on this note. And I'm just saying, it's just me. I definitely don't think at the end of the day, a lot of people, you might be the exception to the rule, but I definitely don't see a lot of people at the end of the day when they're hooking up, so on and so forth, and putting themselves in a possible situation where they could be, that the outcome could be that a child is made out of that particular situation. I don't think a lot of people are thinking about, I'm a carrier of these 4 things, and are you a carrier of these things? I don't think so at the end of the day. I would like to think that, yes, you probably, Judy, would think about those things. I think you probably would. But at the end of the day, I don't think a lot of people think about those things. And hey, I'm just saying, it is what it is. We're just going to have to be mindful of how we respond to things. I think at the end of the day, Jimmy the Crooked, and then he's African American. He's an African American male. It just seems like in these ears and in a lot of people's ears, it's like you're saying at the end of the day, the black man that you do have access to, you're still saying this guy isn't good enough. It is what it is. And as I said before, and I'm going to say again, thank you guys so much for clicking the thumbnail over here at Peppielaview, where we definitely believe in putting our behind where our hearts desire to be. Yes, I do. All right. And also remember, whenever I leave my mother's presence, she always says to me, baby, remember, I love you, but God loves you best. And on that note, I'm looking forward to seeing you next video. And until then, you guys know what to do out there. Take care of yourselves.